Ambassador Zethkar's crystalline fingers trembled as he adjusted the holographic display for the 15th time. The War Council chamber of the Galactic Federation buzzed with nervous energy, its members representing 47 different species, all united in their growing terror of a single, unremarkable blue planet orbiting an average yellow star. "The transmission is ready, High Counselor," Zethkar announced, his voice barely concealing the dread that had consumed him for weeks. High Counselor Varix, a towering Altarian with skin like polished obsidian, nodded grimly. "Proceed. The Council must see what we're truly facing." The chamber darkened as the hologram flickered to life, displaying Earth's innocent facade, white clouds swirling over blue oceans, green continents peaceful in the morning sun. It looked so harmless, so primitive. No advanced energy shields, no planetary defense networks, no orbital battle stations. "This," Zethkar began, his voice shaking, "is what we intercepted from their information networks. They call these entertainment." The first clip began. Roman legions marched across a digital battlefield, their formations precise, their discipline absolute. At Cannae, Hannibal's tactical brilliance unfolded in devastating detail. The Council watched in stunned silence as human warriors armed with nothing but bronze and iron employed strategies that would make seasoned galactic generals weep. "Wait," interrupted Council Member Thys, her serpentine head swaying in confusion. "This is their history, not fiction." "Both," Zethkar replied, switching to another segment. Medieval knights crashed into Saxon shield walls while tactical narrators explained flanking maneuvers that the Galactic Military Academy still struggled to teach. They study their own conflicts, analyze them, learn from them, and then they make games of them. The hologram shifted to show humans hunched over glowing screens, commanding virtual armies with casual expertise that would humble the Federation's finest strategists. Children, they're young, casually orchestrated pincer movements and executed combined arms tactics while their parents prepared evening meals. Councilmember Vorthak, whose species had conquered 17 systems through overwhelming force, began to hyperventilate. They make recreational activities out of warfare? "It gets worse," Zethkar whispered. The display changed to show human cinema. Scenes from Earth's entertainment archives played in sequence. Marines holding impossible positions against overwhelming odds, naval battles where captains chose death before dishonor, pilots ramming their aircraft into enemy formations as acts of ultimate sacrifice. "These aren't their greatest heroes," the ambassador explained, as the Council watched in horrified fascination. "These are what they consider normal behavior." The footage shifted to more recent conflicts. Humans in primitive projectile weapons and cloth uniforms stormed beaches under murderous fire. Others held frozen positions against enemies with superior numbers and technology. In every clip, the same pattern emerged. Humans who refused to yield, who turned desperate situations into victories through sheer, terrifying determination. High Counselor Varix's voice was barely a whisper. "How many wars have they fought?" Zethkar consulted his datapad, his hands shaking. "Conservative estimate? Over 15,000 major conflicts in recorded history. That's not including civil wars, revolutions, or what they term police actions." The chamber erupted in panicked chatter. The Kethmori delegate fainted outright. Several council members began updating their wills. "Please," Zethkar called for attention. "There's more." The hologram displayed humanity's response to their first contact protocols. While other species had either cowered in submission or attacked in blind panic when contacted by the Federation, humans had done something unprecedented. They'd started asking questions. Technical questions, strategic questions, questions about galactic law, territorial boundaries, trade agreements, and military capabilities. Within hours of first contact, human governments had begun forming committees analyzing Federation technology and developing contingency plans. "They're not afraid of us," Council Member Zara observed, her antennae twitching with anxiety. "They're studying us." The final transmission came from their military headquarters, Zethkar continued. "When we sent our standard compliance ultimatum, this was their response." A gruff human voice filled the chamber, speaking through translation software. "We appreciate the invitation to join your Federation. However, we notice several inconsistencies in your territorial claims, and some concerning precedents regarding member species autonomy. We'll need to review your governmental structure, military doctrines, and expansion policies before considering membership. Also, we'd like to examine your historical records regarding species that refused initial contact. Our legal team has some questions. The silence that followed was deafening. High Counselor Varric slumped in his chair. They want to audit us? It appears so, High Counselor. They've also requested detailed information about our military capabilities, citing transparency in interstellar relations and mutual defense considerations. The chamber exploded into chaos. Some council members demanded immediate military action. Others suggested fleeing to distant galaxies. The representative from Proxima Centauri began drafting a formal surrender document, just in case. Order! Varric shouted, his voice echoing through the chamber. As quiet returned, he turned to Zethkar. What do you recommend? The ambassador straightened, his decision made. High Counselor, I recommend we send our most skilled diplomats to Earth immediately. With flowers, chocolate if they have any preference for it, and perhaps some sort of tribute. What kind of tribute? Zethkar pulled up another file. According to their cultural databases, they're quite fond of technology. Perhaps we could offer them some of our more advanced defensive systems, as a gesture of good faith. You want to give them better weapons? Counselor Thys hissed. Respectfully, Counselor, Zethkar replied. I don't think our weapons would be an upgrade. I think they'd be an insult. The vote was unanimous. Within hours, the fastest diplomatic vessel in the Federation fleet was racing toward Earth, its cargo hold filled with the finest gifts the galaxy could offer, and its crew praying to whatever deities would listen, that humanity would be as reasonable in victory as they were terrifying in warfare. Behind them, 47 civilizations held their breath and waited to learn their fate from the species that had turned warfare into an art form, and somehow, impossibly, had never stopped being human.